And Esau said to his father, have you only one blessing, my father? Bless me also, O my father. And he lifted up his voice and wept. Do you have only one blessing? Not two blessings, not three blessings, not four blessings. Do you have any left over, dilapidated, discredited, antiquated, overlooked blessing? Whatever it is, give it to me. Now, I want you to watch something. This is a man who had the birthright and took it for granted and thought his life was going to be blessed, and now gets to the point where he's ready for anything. Just anything. Just any kind of blessing. So far as it's a blessing, I can take it and I can use it. Jacob has taken the blessing. Esau has nothing. He understood the agony of missed opportunities. When you wish you had something and you don't have it. He lifted up his voice, he cried. You can sense passion and hunger for a new opportunity. For the first time in his life, he had respect for little things. He had moved from abundance, and now he's ready for the littlest thing he can have. Sometimes abundance is a curse. Abundance is not always a blessing. That's why in the cycle of life, people who have little create much. Give much to their children, and their children waste it and create little. And the cycle starts all over again. The greatest, or the people who achieve the most in life, most of the time come from extreme deprivation. And the children of those who have achieved much don't achieve much. Because there has to be hunger in you to desire to be. When that hunger dies, you have nothing else left. And Esau moved from a person accustomed to abundance to a person who's ready to work with little. And I want you to listen to the blessing that his father pronounced on him. And the father had to pronounce a blessing on him that he's not pronounced on Jacob. He cannot tell him, you will be great, because he has already told Jacob, your brother will save you. He cannot tell him too, you will be great. He cannot tell him you will be master. He cannot tell him that, because these blessings are not just uttered at will. So he has to carve out a blessing that he didn't give to Jacob. And so I want you to listen to the blessing. Verse 39 to 40, Genesis chapter 27. Then Isaac his father answered and said to him, behold, your blessing shall be with the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. And it shall come to pass, when you become restless, that you shall break his yoke from your neck. This is the blessing he blessed him with. The restless ones, the blessing of restlessness. The Amplified Bible says, then Isaac his father answered, your blessing and dwelling shall all come from the fruitfulness of the earth and from the dew of the heavens above. By your sword you shall live and serve your brother. But the time shall come when you will grow restive and break loose, and you shall tear his yoke from off your neck. There are two parts to this blessing. The first part talks about his dwelling and what he will live by. When the Bible talks about your dwelling, it has to be the environment he would live in. He says, your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. Basically, what you say is you will survive from the natural resources available to you. You will survive by the natural resources available to you. So wherever you are, whatever grows on the ground, it will be a blessing to you. If corn is growing, you will live by the corn. If it's wheat, you live by the wheat. Whatever is available, you can gather it. Because remember, he said, I've blessed your brother with the grain and with the wine. I can't bless you with grain, but I can bless you with survival. I can bless you with the fatness of the earth. I can bless you with natural resources. And wherever you are, whether it's oil in the land or gold in the land or diamond in the land, whatever you find in the earth, you can live by it. In other words, Esau has to be mindful of the environment he lives in, because his survival is linked with the resources available in the land he lives in. And he will live by the dew of heaven. On one level, the dew of heaven simply means just natural rainfall patterns. But at another level, it also means God's spiritual favor. The dew of heaven. Now you would think that if a person is so going to be so blessed with the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven, that should be enough. But he also told him, you will live by the sword. In other words, you're going to learn to be a fighter. You're going to learn to fight. But he says, with the fatness of the earth, the dew of the earth, of the heavens, and your sword, you still will serve your brother. In other words, the fatness of the earth, the dew of heaven, and being able to fight is not enough to give you the victory. You're coming from behind. Sometimes, when I look at the African condition, we think if we find more resources, we'll do well. We didn't do well with gold, didn't do well with diamonds, didn't do well with oil, but if we find titanium, yeah, we'll prosper. Oh yeah, Lord, give us titanium. Just look at your history. The fatness of the earth still makes you a servant. You're still serving. You're still in bondage. Rainfall patterns are good. You're still poor. Still can't feed yourself. You're still the lowest of the low. You are boxers. You box and beat everybody. You stand in the boxing ring, a black man meets anybody else, they beat the person up. And still, it's not working. So what Isaac is telling Jacob is, this is the only blessing I give you that doesn't conflict with Jacob. The fatness of the earth, the dew of heaven, the sword. I didn't bless him with sword. I didn't bless him with the dew of heaven. I didn't bless him with the fatness of the earth. I blessed him with grain and wine. He will live well. You will be a hustler. He would live well. Hustle is a blessing. Don't underestimate your hustle. It's a blessing to hustle. I say hustle is a blessing. You know why I said that? You see, I understand there is fruitless labor. There is fruitless labor, but there is fruitful labor. When Adam and Eve sinned, and God is pronouncing a curse, he did not curse Adam. Adam was not cursed. He said, I curse the earth for your sake. You did bad, but I'm punishing the earth. What is the curse of the earth? It will produce thorns and thistles. In other words, the earth will not be fruitful for you. But he said, with the sweat of your face and toil, you will eat. So sweat and toil was not a curse. Sweat and toil is an antidote to the curse, so that you can take an earth that is cursed and eat from it. God blessed labor. God blessed hard work. God blessed sweat. God bless your effort. When you go out in the morning and you are sweating, you are not under a curse. You are working yourself out of a curse, because out of your sweat you shall eat. It is called the blessing of work. Fruitful labor does not just come about when you are sitting for things to happen. They come about when you work, and God blesses the work of your hand, so that the earth, which would naturally be a disaster for you, now becomes a place of abundance for you, because you put in work and labor into the earth. So now that is what he's telling Esau. Your sword, your subsistence, those are the things I will bless you with. But even if you use all of those to the maximum, you will still be a servant. So in reality, the only thing he blessed him with was in the last statement he made. And when you become restless, you will break his yoke from your neck. When you become restless. To be restless is to be troubled, to be agitated, not to settle, not to sit. The image that Isaac is painting is like that of a bull that has been chained around the neck. And instead of sitting docilely because it has been chained and yoked, the bull turns its neck and turns and works and works and works and works, and there is blood coming out, but it works and works and breaks the yoke so it can be free. He says, when you become like that, where you don't just settle where life deposited you, then you will break the yoke of Jacob from your neck. He didn't say, I will take Jacob's blessing from him. Jacob will still be blessed, but his blessing will not overrule you, because you will also have an equal blessing to match the blessing of Jacob. So let's break down what he said. When you become, when speaks about a time frame. When means there's going to come a time when you outgrow your emotions. Because the natural emotion of Esau was look for Jacob and kill him. Just kill him. And some people think if you can kill your enemy, you will prosper. There's nothing more disastrous than somebody you have killed who still controls you. You manage to destroy him, but he still rules over you. You're still living in a dead man's house. Just eliminating an enemy does not eliminate his power. What God is telling, or what Isaac is telling Esau is, I don't want you to just use the sword to go after Jacob. You have to use it to go after yourself. You are where you are because of your bad decisions. For a bowl of food, you sold your future to your brother. And unless you realize that where you are is a result of your own mistakes in life, you will always be a servant. It's like when we say, the white man came and took our money, the white man did this, and the white man did this, and colonialism did this, and white people did this, and the white man doesn't like it, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You haven't even found your part in selling your birthright. How are you going to break the yoke? When you become restless. The you there means it depends on you. It's your responsibility. God is not going to do it for you. The great Thomas Edison said, restlessness is discontent. And discontent is the first necessity of progress. Show me a thoroughly satisfied man, and I will show you a failure. I believe in God giving us rest. But I don't know about you. I don't want God to give me full rest. Because you must find something to fight every day of your life. You can have rest from one problem, but you will still have to fight another problem. You can have rest from something and still be battling other things. Life is about continuous restlessness. When you become restless, check through the Bible. Moses was a restless man. He was born a prince. He had status, a guaranteed future. One day he decides, I don't like this. I have to fight and fight for my brothers. And they got him into trouble and then made him who he is. Esther was settled in the palace of the king, but she was restless, and it brought deliverance to his people. Look at the great apostle Paul, a restless man who never settled and kept moving on with God. God wants us to have a restless spirit.